My name is Jesus. I'm the co-creator of Deadend Worldwide. We're inside of the Good Guys All-American Get-Together in our lowrider exhibit, man. Check out the cars.
How long has the company been around?
Deadend was founded in 2004 by myself and my brother, man. So
your brother started it.
22 years, man. Yeah. So long time.
How did it start? What's the origin
The
behind?
origin is, so my brother and I have always been into classic cars my whole life. I had lowrider bikes. I built model cars, everything, growing up. And then we're both artists, so we both did like graffiti, and then we started designing flyers by hand, logos for car clubs and stuff like that. And then he went into graphic design school, and then we realized we could do kind of anything. He started learning Photoshop, Illustrator, and all those programs. So he had assignments to create things, and then he was making mock magazines, and back then it was DVD covers and all that stuff. So yeah, we kind of just said, man, we could make our own magazine.
So is that how the magazine started? Was then you guys creating like artwork and that just kind of transitioned into a magazine?
No, it was basically my brother was interning for a men's magazine. At the time, there was a lot of men's magazines.
Yeah.
It was a real popular thing.
Yeah.
And he was involved with the one that was launching new.
Okay.
And he chose, hey, can I do the car section?
Yeah.
So he started making layouts, and we did our first photo shoot for another publication, right? And then we just my brother's goal was to work for Lowrider or one of those big publications like Riders Journal. And
Good Guys.
Exactly. Those really good ones. And he basically just said, we just kind of thought like, damn, I think we could do our own.
For sure.
What we did that wasn't being done at the time was really mix them up.
Okay.
If you bought a lowrider magazine, it was strictly lowriders. If you bought Hot Rod at the time, if you bought Rod and Custom Rodder, they weren't mixed.
Yeah.
Where we said, hey, a 64 Impala on 13-inch wires is the same thing as a 40 Ford Coupe, with Buick drums. There's different traditions, but they're traditional.
Yeah.
So we literally had like a 32 Roadster with bias plies, and then a 64 Impala, and then a Chop Merc, all in one. But at the time, the publications were separating them, what I mean? Which made sense.
Yeah.
But guys like us were like, hey, we like everything. We almost did everything. We almost went and did like 4x4s.
Oh, really?
Tuners. Like, we were just going to do anything that's cool.
You guys were literally just going to do a magazine.
We were just going to do anything that moves and is cool. So if you have a badass motorcycle, we'll feature your motorcycle. If you have but we decided to keep it in the traditional. And honestly, we were very influenced by the Paso Robles back then car show, which is now Santa Maria West Coast Customs, because there it's majority like lead sleds and traditional customs, and they're sprinkled in traditional hot rods and some lowriders.
Yeah.
And every car we saw there was cool, so we were like, this is what we like.
Like you're talking about the customs and wire wheels and stuff, like your display, right?
Yeah.
You guys always bring the collection of everything in there.
Yeah.
It's not just the lowrider. It's like when we call this the Deadend Lowrider display, but like you got a custom right there. You got a freaking old 40, 50 Chevy. You got Impalas. You got a Bel Air.
Yeah, we've had a lot of different stuff in here. The majority of it will be your traditional lowrider, but like I said, in my opinion, we've had Mercs in here that are just beautiful, laid out.
Riviera.
Rivies, everything that falls into that like proper style that we like to showcase. So, like I said, the majority, because the lowriders are the ones that kind of stand out because they're done with the candy paint, the gold, the engraving, the hydraulics, chrome undercarriage. Yeah, they just pop. Yeah. Whether you're like a fan of it or not, it's going to stop you when you're walking by it. If I'm going to do this, I want it to stand out. I've been in here where I walk into the building and I'm looking for something that's going to catch my eye. Regardless, if you're a big fan of, this is a Thunderbird. The majority of the people here are not like, I love Thunderbirds from the 70s. Yeah. But when you see something like this, you're going to stop and look at it. You know what I mean? So that's what, if I'm representing, if Deadend is hosting, we want it to be something that's going to stand out. And I kind of make it a point to always invite different cars.
So let's talk about that. Like, every year you guys, how long have you guys been doing this?
Dude, I need to figure it out because it's over 10, for sure.
We talked about it last year.
It's probably more than 12,
yeah.
Bro.
How do you come up with the cars that you guys have on display? Who organizes that? Where do you find them? What do you look for? How does somebody get their car in here?
I just basically reach out to clubs and people that I know directly. Hey, I know you guys got a new car build. You want to show it? You know what I mean? So it's just using our network, man. And we've had Lowrider of the Year on display in here. We've had like some super top-notch cars.
You guys had a Good Guys Gazette pick last year come out of the fall show. And you guys have your guys' own show.
Yes, we do. June 27th, Laguna Seca Raceway, Salinas, California, the Custom Capital. I hope you guys can make it. And it's the same thing. It's a mixture. It's called the Custom Capital because to me, California is the capital of custom cars.
It is.
But there's a lot of lowriders. There is some traditional hot rods. But everything's classic. Everything is, mostly traditional stuff. So
where do they find out more information about that?
thecustomcapital.com or deadendworldwide.com.
What's the difference between this one that's got like full hydraulic stance and all that kind of stuff compared to like that Impala down there?
Okay.
What makes a lowrider difference?
The difference is, let's say for example, this T-Bar, I'm going to speak on behalf of the community because I can't speak specifically for the owner, but this car is built for the show circuit. So they do everything they can to earn the points. So this car is frame off restoration. So if you look at it, the frame is candy painted, the underbelly of the car is candy painted, the entire car is candy painted with a lot of graphics and patterns. And then the chrome, everything is re-chromed. Things that were not chrome from factory are chrome, like the suspension, you know, tons of stuff in the trunk, under the hood is chrome. And then the engraving adds more points. So when you see a car to this level, they're going for the points to try to win awards and compete. Where like the 59 Impala down there, it's got candy paint, but it doesn't have any engraving, doesn't have the chrome underneath. It's made for the streets. So it's got hydraulics, it's got the wire wheels, it's got the look, and it's a traditional lowrider, but it's not built to compete. So there is two different things in lowriding. There's competitive lowriders, and then there's cruisers, like street cars.
Could you add a third level to that with the guys that are doing the hopping competitions and stuff?
Yeah, hopping is a different, like, you know, a branch off of lowriding, which basically how high you can get your car to go up, which it is innovative. They got to figure different stuff out. They got to use the right cars and spend a lot of money breaking them. But it's entertaining, man. But even in hopping, there's competitive hoppers and there's street hoppers that they're not going to compete. They're just going to go cruise and have fun. And there's guys that they're just going to compete. They want to show their shop is building the best hoppers. So
a lowrider doesn't necessarily always mean hydraulics.
No,
it can be stance and wheels.
It could be stance and wheels, and then even air ride. A lot of the traditional guys will say it's not a lowrider with air ride, but nowadays, man, if it's laid out on the floor with you know, wire wheels or stocks, it's a lowrider. You know what I mean? But a true traditional lowrider has hydraulics, because that's what, you know, you think about it, when the hydraulics first came about, they were the ones that were using it originally. So it was an innovative thing that separates you from a lead sled or a muscle car. Like, who had hydros originally? Just lowriders. You know what I mean? So that is like a stamp of lowrider, is having hydraulics, for sure.
How the bikes tie into cars.
So as a kid, you can do the same thing you do to a car on the level of a bike. So, you know, your dad, your parents, you save up, you can buy a bike and customize it. That's what I did. You know, I bought a Schwinn, original Schwinn, and then I bought my steering wheel. And then we got, you know what I mean? We start adding, we get it painted, we bondle it. It's the same stuff that you're doing to the car, but it's on a lower level where a kid can do it. But you're still personalizing. You can still compete, and you can still cruise there. I used to ride my bikes. Like, I had a group of homeboys in my neighborhood, and we would cruise them.
You said competing. Were you competing on
No,
the bikes?
I never competed, but I did display them.
Okay, but like competing and like showing them, not actually like racing or something
like that. The competition is the same as here, where, hey, let's bring our bikes, and who has the best paint, who has the most gold, who has the most, you know, same stuff that you put into here. I mean, people even put hydraulics on lowrider bikes.
Yeah, I've seen it,
So, or air ride. But yeah, I didn't build it to compete. I built it to have fun with my friends. But that was like your beginning stages of lowriding. Like, once you have a lowrider bike, you're doing the life of lowriding. You're cruising a bike that's not your typical BMX or mountain bike. So that alone is like its own culture. But it's the same thing as this. You graduate, when you can get a car, then you build a car. It's for the kids to be able to be involved in this without, you know, they can't drive. They can't really build a car from the frame on. So lowriding, I mean, bicycles is basically the same thing, man.
It's entry level.
Which I really appreciate that you guys have the custom bikes in there, because the kids walk around, they see them, and they're like, whoa, I want one of those, you know?
I want one of those.
Dude, I used to host a bike event, and it was just to get kids to build shit. It gets them into this same culture at their level. So I love it, man.
It's great. It's a great way. It's a great way to get into it, right? It's the culture-wise, the style-wise. It's that it'd be a kid getting a 80s Camaro and wanting to go to like a 60s.
And you know, you get to express yourself artistically. You know, I mean, you choose the color, you choose the style of wheels. Same thing we're doing with the cars. Whether it's a lowrider or a street rod, like, you're choosing the color, you're choosing the custom interior, you want the custom gauges. You're expressing yourself with the vehicle, as opposed to, you know, your daily driver. It's just a daily driver. It's something that's reliable, and that's it. Where these cars, you personalize them, and there's more passion, and you get tired working on them.
It's expression of your personality, or extension of your personality is a huge part of that, right? Let's go back to the design part when you guys talked about the beginning. Like, you said that you guys were doing graphic design stuff. Like, what was it about the lowriders that like hooked you into like going down that route, like going down to Deadend?
I think
Deadend started because of lowriders, because of the graphic design. Like, what started that?
I think myself and my brother have always been visual people. So like I said, you know, as a kid, we did graffiti, and then we started drawing. We both drew our whole lives, right? To me, when I saw a car like this, the first I remembered I was a kid outside of the store with my dad, and a car came by with hydraulics, and he scraped the front end, and it threw sparks, right? You lay the subframe on the floor, and I had never seen anything like that, and it looked unbelievable to me.
That's
And
what caught you.
It caught my attention, where I was like, "What the hell is that?"
How old were you when you caught the bug?
When I saw that, fuck, I was probably like 6, dude. But before that, I had a neighbor who had custom painted pedal cars and lowrider bikes. And same thing, it was candy, fade, and pinstriping in the 80s, right? And I didn't know anything about it, but I just looked at it and I was like, I want one of those, you know?
Yeah.
Then I started learning about it real young because I was really intrigued by it.
Yes,
so
sir.
when the graphic design came into it, like I said, it's a modern technology way of expressing yourself artistically.
Yep.
So to me, when I saw a candy painted lowrider with gold wheels and hydraulics, it was an art piece, you know, and I started paying attention, and every one I saw had more. I learned more about what the paint jobs were and everything that was done. I mean, the interior in this is full custom. Literally take out what's in there and redo it all brand new. So to me, it's like the art of it, but like I said, I'm a visual person. So it's just so beautiful. I mean, the profile of them, the paint, and the fact that it can move up and down, the way that they sit low.
Yep.
I mean, there's not, even if I'm looking at a muscle car in your other building or a C10, the lowest ones are the baddest ones, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I think it just all tied in once my brother started doing graphic design, you know, photoshopping our cars, lowering them, and designing logos, and started doing photography and videography. And it's like, it's all about visual. You know what I mean? Like, we're just enjoying what we see, and then we get to create what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. That's what I do with the apparel. I have a vision. I had a vision for this. Hey, I want to put a bomb on the California flag. Like, to me, you know, the bear represents the state, but to me, this represents California better because I'm a lowrider guy, born and raised, you know what I mean, in California. So just ideas that we have, and we can bring them to life with the graphic design. You know what I mean? And now make them into a product, you know what I mean? So, that's kind of where we progressed into getting to where the apparel is the main thing now.
The apparel's the main thing.
Yeah.